and girls, children of all ages. This is Something Sporty. You've stepped into Something Sporty where we talk about sports and other things. I am your host. My name is Elijah. Fashionably dressed, fashionably early. With me is the sporty part of Something Sporty. From the other side, the booth side, we have Eric. Give it up for Booth Master Eric.
What's up, fellas?
Booth Master Eric.
I'll take it.
Mr. Bass Pro Shops himself, London Lambana.
Let's go. Episode 5.
Episode 5. Last week was a bit of a bye week. I'm going to call it a bye week.
Recovery week.
A recovery week, to say the least. How the hell is everybody?
So far, so good.
Been okay.
Yeah. Lots of NBA going on and
whole lot of stuff going on. A lot of sports. Man, we got sports. It's going off. Like, we got NBA playoffs right now. Baseball's hot and heavy. We got the draft, the NFL draft.
Champions League.
Oh yeah, I mean that other stuff too.
For the soccer fans.
We just came off the Masters tournament over the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, what else we got? What else is going on?
Obviously, I think the biggest story is NBA playoffs.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So the last time we talked about this, we had our own little predictions for the finals. I picked the Warriors going against the Brooklyn Nets. As of last night, Brooklyn Nets got absolutely swept by the Boston Celtics. Just disgusting. Just a disgusting performance by the Nets. And Eric is sweeping the table. He's getting rid of all the Brooklyn nastiness.
If only I had a broom in this studio right now.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I think we all were not expecting that, or pretty much anybody in the world was not expecting the Nets to get swept. But
they got absolutely turded on.
Not to mention they have Kevin Durant on their team.
They got KD, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin. Well, you had the one guy. What's his name?
Ben
Simmons,
who's
doing absolutely nothing.
And like ESPN reported that he was going to return for Game 4, and then soon after, right before Game 4 was supposed to happen.
Yeah. Right after they lost Game 3, then they're like, oh yeah, never mind.
It's
I caught the end of it.
What?
And they were
Why
saying,
are you not putting in Ben Simmons?
And he looks healthy enough.
You trolled everybody. You trolled the whole world.
Yeah, I don't think Ben Simmons is doing any sort of or making any sort of difference in terms of the outcome of any of these games.
He hasn't played at all this season.
Not at all this season. He hasn't played since the last year's playoffs. And you're telling me that this guy is going to come in Game 4, win or go home, and be a star? There's just no way. When they said that he was expected to come back for Game 4, I was like, dude, this guy's. I don't know what they think if he's just gonna jump in and fit right in and make a difference.
Day.
Yeah, that's just not real.
So they mentioned how he was ready for Game 4. I think right before Game 3.
It was right before Game 3.
So it's like if he's ready for Game 4, throw him into Game 3.
Yeah.
They need him. They needed him. Needed because they're not in anymore. But
yeah, you would think, right? If he comes back and plays, like he once did. But
me being the basketball knowledge wizard that I am, obviously, if he's ready for Game 4, throw him into Game 3. They're just trolling their own city. Like, you're not winning. You're not winning over anybody. With
this whole series has been a mess for the Nets.
Yeah, and to rub salt into the wound, the Nets are the only winless team in the playoffs.
Yeah,
all other teams in the playoffs have at least one win under their belt.
At least, and now Boston gets to chill for a good few days, a week or so before they find out their opponents. By the way, currently, let's see. So, Boston beat Brooklyn. So now they move on to, what is it? What's after the first one? It's like
they'll play
conference series or something. They'll play the winner of
the
Chicago,
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee is leading 3-1. It's funny, we didn't even talk about how potentially the former champs, the Milwaukee Bucks, like they're the champs and they're in the playoffs. Like why are we sleeping on the champs?
I mean, well, first of all, the Bulls haven't really put up much of a fight here. So either that or Milwaukee's just. I mean, they're defensively, they're probably one of the best teams in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, Milwaukee's always going to be dangerous. I think initially everybody thought it was going to be Brooklyn. I thought it was going to be Miami, who is looking pretty solid right now so far.
Sure are.
But yeah, Milwaukee's definitely. I think now it's definitely going to be between Miami and Milwaukee with the way that the 76ers are looking. They came out hot, and then the last couple games have just kind of disappeared. Harden, I don't think, has scored more than 22 the whole playoffs. He's kind of become not only a second guy behind Joel Embiid, but almost third to Tyrese Maxey now. Maxey's been having really good playoffs. Joel Embiid has got his thumb injury, which I think has definitely slowed him down the last couple games.
Yeah, not to mention they lost to the Raptors yesterday.
Yeah, last night.
103-88.
Yeah, they got blown out.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, there's been a couple blowouts in that series, both from Philadelphia and from Toronto. 3-2 right now, I think, of this series, right?
Philadelphia leads the series 3-2.
Yeah, I think the Sixers will come out. I think they'll pull it off, but yeah, the Raptors are definitely making it close, and James Harden's performance has definitely not been good enough.
However, head coach Doc Rivers is no stranger to blowing 3-1 leads.
That is true. Good call.
Right about that.
And God forbid they blow a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, they were up. They were 3-0, and they got blown out the last two games. So the other surprising story is the Pelicans.
The Pelicans.
Pelicans are still here, and I only think that's because Devin Booker got.
Well, yeah. So, but even before Book got injured, they had game one they lost, but that was a really close game. And then in the play-in, they made it out of the play-in, playing really good basketball. And then their two wins have been, I mean, pretty close games, but the Pelicans are actually looking pretty solid.
Who's on the Pelicans? Because all these series, I don't watch every single game. You can follow the games, but I don't know anybody on the Pelicans.
Yeah, so I mean, they traded for C.J. McCollum midway through the season, and before that, they were like one of the worst teams in the NBA. And then after the All-Star break, they started picking it up. Once they got McCollum, Brandon Ingram's been playing well. And then obviously they still don't have Zion, so I don't think the Pelicans will end up winning the series, but I think that they're going to be a pretty good team in the near future as long as Zion, comes back and plays the way he once was. But yeah, they're definitely making that interesting. Suns losing Devin Booker is big, but in the regular season he missed quite a few games, and they still had a really good record. I mean, obviously they had the best record in the NBA. So I think this just says a lot about New Orleans and how good basketball they're playing.
They are currently tied 2-2. Their next game is, I believe, today.
Tonight, yeah.
It's tonight. Let's see. And then continuing with the Western Conference, they got Dallas Mavs leading Utah 3-2. That game is in a couple days.
Yeah, that's been a fun series.
Yeah, without Luka, the Jazz are just getting annihilated by Jalen Brunson. Like, who would have expected that? And now Luka's back, and last night they absolutely dominated the Jazz, and I think the Jazz got to be one of the most fraud franchises for the last couple of seasons now. I think last year or the year before, I think when they were like the 1 or the 2 seed.
Yeah, they were the 1 seed last year, and then they got upset by the Clippers in the semifinals.
Exactly, and it's been like that the last couple of years. They've had really promising regular seasons, and come playoffs, they just don't get the job done. And then once again, they're getting crushed by Jalen Brunson.
And
of all people.
Yeah. And like now with Luka back, they're not winning that series. The Dallas Mavericks are playing pretty good basketball.
And that just goes to show that you could have an amazing regular season, but once you get to the postseason, none of that matters.
Yeah,
you're starting back to zero.
Draymond Green on his podcast said something about like there's guys, and then there's guys who come playoffs that aren't guys anymore. And I think the Jazz probably got a couple of those. And, I mean, the Nets definitely – I don't know if he was sending shots at anybody specifically, but it's definitely apparent regular season teams versus postseason teams, and the Warriors are a good example. Warriors, I mean, they had a really good regular season, but playoff time they always pick it up, and that's why I think they're gonna make it out of the West.
Oh, definitely. They played. Was that yesterday? They played Denver. Oh no, that was Sunday.
Yeah,
They played Denver, and they got their first loss of the series, but
Denver kind of controlled that game from the beginning.
that
But
Jo-
they're coming back.
Jokic,
Jokic, yeah. They're coming back to Chase tomorrow. I think they might. Yeah, they
actually,
play tomorrow night.
They're playing today, actually.
tomorrow.
No, they play tomorrow night.
27.
Wait,
Chase is 26.
Yeah,
Oh,
Warriors
shit,
are
that's right,
tomorrow
that's right.
night. But yeah, I think they'll come back to Chase tomorrow night.
They'll come back. They'll
finish it off.
They'll finish off the series. Good. And they'll come home and do it. I always like it when a team comes away and smashes and finishes off
Yeah.
the series. Like, that's just a nice.
Did you guys see their nickname for Draymond, Jordan Poole, and Klay Thompson and Curry?
Mm-mm.
They said the PTSD for Poole, Thompson, Steph, and Draymond.
What?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's actually, I thought it was a pretty good one.
Damn.
yeah,
That's actually that's
creative.
that's dangerous.
Yeah, so
In a fun way.
So my personal coin nickname that I gave myself prior to Jordan Poole kind of breaking out and Kevin Durant. So if anybody knows, 24 Hour Fitness usually has some pretty good pickup runs, and I like to consider myself a little bit of a legend out there. Strictly 3-point shooter.
In the annals of 24-hour fitness.
Yeah, so I refer to myself as the third Splash Brother.
Sheesh.
Behind Steph and Clay. This is pre-Jordan Poole era. So now I think I'm going to have to give that name to Jordan Poole. Name him the third Splash Bro, and I'll take a step down.
Yeah, that guy's
Very
been on
humble of you.
fire.
Yeah. And speaking of Jordan Poole, can we talk about the snub of the most improved player?
Yeah. I mean, I just saw that this morning.
So John Morant won it, deservingly so.
Deservingly so,
He
yeah.
obviously coming off Rookie of the Year, he did also have a really big improvement this season. But the fact that Jordan Poole wasn't even in the top 3 finalists
It's robbery.
was absolute joke. I mean, the guy was on a 2-way deal, and I think was averaging like less than 10 points a game, and then just the playoffs alone. I mean, the Warriors are a regular season award, but just these playoffs alone and his first big playoff series. Well, actually his first series, because last year they didn't make it out of the play-in. But yeah, his first playoff series, this guy is stepping up, starting. Obviously, Curry's coming off the bench for his injury, but he had I think it was 89 points in his first 3 playoff games or something like that. It was ridiculous. So
Yeah, Jordan Poole showing out, a product of the pandemic from the whole bubble situation. Definitely made himself a starter and a top guy.
and a product of the Warriors just constantly bringing out the best in guys. Gary Payton II. Wyatt Anderson has really stepped up, and all these guys that, I mean, it's hard to say obviously, but you would assume that if they're not put in these great franchise situations, then who knows where their career goes, and I think that's the case for so many guys, and then they find the right team or find the right organization, and they just flourish. And the Warriors have been historically really, really, at least in the last couple of years, have been have shown that with the guys that they've signed or drafted, and really just brought the best out of those guys.
Take Patrick McCaw, for example. He won 3 consecutive championships in his first 3 seasons.
Yeah, good point. And then he leaves the Warriors and don't really know.
Yeah,
haven't really
he's
heard of him
been
since.
MIA, really.
Yeah, no, there's tons of stories like that.
So yes, Golden State's leading 3-1 Denver. They play tomorrow. Hopefully, they wrap it up. And then the last game, or the last series that's going on, Memphis and Minnesota.
Yeah, another really good series.
Another good series.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Minnesota's really, I mean, they've had really good control over that series, and then just blew 2 games. Especially it was game 3, their first game back in Minnesota, and I think they were up by 26 and ended up losing that one. But yeah, Minnesota's, I mean, they're definitely surprising. Memphis was one of the best teams in the NBA, and Minnesota's just kind of came out of nowhere and playing really well.
Yeah, it's a battle of two like future superstars in
Yeah.
John Moran and Anthony Edwards. They've been putting on a show this series.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
and
incredible.
Anthony Towns has had a really good bounce back season. Picked up his 3-point game, which has helped him a lot. Be able to spread the floor. So,
Not to mention his third All-Star selection.
and he was an All-Star. Yep. After the whole Jimmy Butler situation in Minnesota, I think everybody was kind of a Cat hater because Jimmy Butler was just kind of calling him soft, and it did show because they had a really good team that year with Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, Cat. But yeah, Minnesota's definitely picking it up. Anthony Edwards is looking like he's gonna be a really good player in the league. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see where that one goes.
Yes, they are tied 2-2. They are playing Game 5 tonight. We will see what happens next.
It's still hilarious every time I see the video of them celebrating their play-in win, like they just won the championship.
Like, bro, it's the playing.
Patrick
Take it
Beverley.
easy. Take it easy.
Yeah, jumping on the announcing tables.
He's like,
yeah.
this is my house.
Yeah.
This is my house.
Yeah, no, that was
it.
classic.
I own this place.
Sheesh. All right. Well,
What a guy.
something that we haven't really touched in the last couple weeks, a little bit of off-season NFL news.
Yeah.
Ooh. It's been hasn't been too eventful.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, with
So
the
what-
draft coming up.
Yeah,
And like all this stuff. Oh, that's some baseball stuff. But yeah, like with the draft coming up, people are looking for last-minute trades. The whole Deebo Samuel situation has been a bit of a topic of conversation for 49er fans. He did ask for a trade from the 49ers a couple weeks ago. And then there have been conflicting reports after that, like, oh, he's not really. That's just what do you call it, clickbait and things like that. But John Lynch put it in a Twitter post yesterday or today, saying how much of a great player Deebo Samuel is and would not want to lose him.
yeah. I
Just a
saw
call
him.
before the storm.
I saw the same thing. He said something about that they'll listen to offers same way they would with anybody, but they don't want to let him go really at all. Which is probably true, but it's also a little bit of a leverage play. Like, yeah, even though he asked for a trade, we're not just gonna give him up for anybody.
For nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, come draft time, it's always funny to me, like seeing the draft pick trades. So like the other day, New England traded with I believe it was the Texans.
Yeah, I saw something about that.
Their 5th round pick for the Texans' 6th and 7th round picks. It's like at that point, it's like, well, I mean, I guess you get 2 picks in return, but it's like the 6th and 7th rounders. Like, what are the odds of? I mean, I guess
You can never say never.
yeah, it's happened obviously before, but it's like just the most random thing to me. Like, oh yeah, let me just get rid of my 5th round and I'll take your guys' 6th and
I'll
7th.
take your 6 and 7.
Like, I guess the scouts probably know a little bit better than us, but it's like just such a weird thing to me. I don't know, or like the trading. I mean, second round it makes sense, but like trading, like, oh yeah, let me move up 2 picks in the 4th round so I can get this guy. Yeah, no, I think that's always the most funny thing about the draft to me is always those pick for pick swaps.
Yeah, and I've been trying to follow, mock drafts and see like who the top guys
Yeah.
are, and things change. Like one for one, there's hardly any quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That are even being looked at for the top like 20 picks.
Yeah.
There's one guy, Pickett.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett he's projected probably to be the first quarterback taken, but even then, I don't think he's projected to maybe top 10. But if that, then I think this draft is definitely lacking
Star power.
power. Yes, exactly.
And the only guy that I'm really following that I know of is Adrian Hutchinson from Michigan. I'm a big Michigan fan. Go Blue. I think that's the only time I'll ever say that. But go Blue. I'll say it again. But other than that, yeah, like I remember last draft, like I was very excited.
Yeah,
for
no,
it.
last draft they had a lot of star power.
I watched the Pat McAfee. They're following the draft. I had a DraftKings pool. I'm like, who was gonna get picked when? I was very disappointed when the 49ers did not pick Mac Jones and they grabbed this Trey Lance guy.
Yeah. The difference between quarterbacks from the previous draft to this coming draft is massive. Everybody I think it was 5, right? 5 QBs taken within like top 15.
Within like the top 15.
Yeah, and this year maybe one will be in the top 15.
So
and at that, it's Kenny Pickett who played at Pitt. Like, he's not even Pitt is Power 5 conference school, but it's not.
That's not Alabama.
It's not a big football school, to say the least, And I think Malik Willis played at Liberty, who's going to be like the number 2, projected number 2 quarterback off the board. So, yeah, the star power, like you said, it's lacking, to say the least, in this one.
Hopefully
I'll still watch, though.
Still going to peep it and still, content for the show.
Yeah.
But, it's just not – it doesn't have the same joyful energy as it did last year.
The names definitely make the
money.
Yeah. That's one way to put it.
Yeah. I got a little bit of Packer news, me being the resident Packer fan here on something sporty. Sammy Watkins from the Kansas City Chiefs a week or two ago signed a 1-year deal with my boys in Green Bay after we took the loss, losing Devontae. We lost a couple other people. This is a little sign of good news. Sammy Watkins he's a dangerous weapon wherever you go. So I'm excited for that. And I've been hearing some rumblings of when Devontae left for Vegas, there were talks about possibly trading Darren Waller to the Packers. Now, it's very speculative. Derek Carr even said, no chance.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way the Raiders would be dumb to get rid of Darren Waller. They would be
dumb to lose Darren Waller.
He's definitely top 3 tight end in the league right now.
Agreed.
And, if they keep, they're most likely going to keep him. That's just me as a
Green
Bay
if
fan.
they want to compete in that division, they can't get rid of any of their star guys.
They can't get rid of anybody. That AFC West is the most stacked division in the league. So
from top to bottom, they got so many weapons in that league.
But
the good thing for the Packers, though, their conference is probably the worst in the NFL, so they could still win it.
Well, they always win the NFC North, so
yeah, you got Chicago, Detroit, and
LOL.
I guess Minnesota maybe.
The only contender would be Minnesota. They did give us an L last season, but the NFC North, as a Green Bay fan, and I've been a Green Bay fan for a while. It's how do you not get the NFC North? If you don't get the NFC North, there's a friggin' problem. And that hasn't been the case for years. I think the last time they didn't get the NFC North was 2017, 2018. But Rodgers was hurt that year, so whatever. Also, Aaron Rodgers and his girlfriend, they broke up again.
Is this another so I remember a couple months ago he posted a huge thank you to what's his girlfriend's name again?
Shailene
Woodley. Shailene Woodley, yes. He posted a huge thank you, and everybody's like, "Oh, are they broken up or what is this guy doing right now?" To not only her but to the Packers and whatever else.
Almost, giving, and this is before he re-signed. So
this was before.
It was almost hey, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. So there's another story that
they a couple months ago, I guess they called off their engagement, but they were still together, or they got back together. This is the something part of the Something Sporty podcast. But no, and I guess they split up again. The girl is not happy in the situation or something. That's not really what I wanted to talk about, but it's Packer news, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess.
Every time I hear Shailene Woodley, I always think of The Fault in Our Stars. You guys ever see that movie?
I had to read the book.
Bit of a tearjerker. It was a good film.
Was it?
Yeah.
I remember had to.
just want to throw that in there.
Film of the week to watch, Fault in Our Stars. Read the book was better. No, I did not read the book. I remember for going from junior to senior year of high school, it was a requirement. Here's summer reading.
Yeah.
Everyone has to read The Fault in Our Stars. I'm not fucking reading that. What the hell are you talking about, guy? That's a sad story. And plus, I was too much of a manly man in
Yeah.
parentheses back then. I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that book, man.
I think I read maybe 2 books that were assigned in high school.
Yeah, I read a couple books.
One of them was The Great Gatsby, which was
I did read the Great
which was a
Gatsby
good
as
book.
well. I did.
Yeah,
like that.
I'll agree. Yeah, we can all agree there.
Yeah,
The
on
Great
but
Gatsby.
the other ones
1984.
Spark Notes got me through the rest of them.
Spark Notes.
Spark Notes.
Quick shout out to Quizlet.
Quizlet,
That
Spark
too.
Notes.
Quizlet, man. Quizlet has helped me on so many things.
Yeah.
If you could sponsor us, that would be amazing. We have similar colors to you.
Yeah. Just throwing out free ads right now.
It's like in the middle where advertising. Let's see. So
Yeah, what's next?
not a whole lot. No, but let's see. Baseball is in full swing.
Yep.
Bro.
There you go.
Gotcha.
There you go.
The Giants are doing well. Let's see. I have a screenshot of the standings both in the American League and National League.
So here's a good baseball story. Did you guys see the Yankees fans throwing all the trash at one of the Guardians? Oh, I was about to say Indians. The Guardians
Sorry.
left fielder.
No, I did not.
So he for some reason, I don't know the full story of why, but for some reason earlier in the game he kind of climbed up on top of the wall and started chirping with a couple of the fans. And the game ends, and then the fans just start chucking beer bottles, trash, garbage at the 3 Guardians outfielders. And obviously they start chirping back and forth, and then Yankees players come out, and good on them. The Yankees players did try and tell fans to stop and whatnot. But just talk about all-time worst sports fans. Yankees got to be up high on that list.
Yeah,
They
they have no class.
Yeah,
They show
I think
no class.
so. There's, and I've seen it on Twitter before, but it's hilarious. There's a group of fans that I think are the worst. So
I love to hear this because I
So-
have my own opinions. on
so Lakers, Dodgers, Cowboys, right?
this. Wow. Okay.
And even worse when you're a fan of the 3, right? There's so, I don't know, you guys have to know somebody like this, but there's so many fans for some reason. They're Lakers, Dodgers, and then
Yeah.
Cowboys, and they're just the worst fans of all time. I can't explain it, but it's a fact.
Okay, so me being a San Francisco Giants fan, I will definitely agree. Dodgers fans suck.
Yeah.
I can't stand Dodgers fans, Dodgers players, Dodgers staff, the Dodgers stadium, the people who work in the stadium.
So to go along with the Dodgers slander here, I'm a Padres fan, and there was a video on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw it, of some girl Dodgers fan grabbed, it was just one of a foam finger or some little Padres memorabilia thing, and she was stomping on it in the crowd. And some guy, they were up on the second deck. Some guy, after she's doing it, he's just watching her, letting it happen. She turns around to him, and the guy grabs her Dodgers hat and chucks it down down below,
Yes.
to basically
Yes.
almost landing on the field.
Hell yeah!
And
Hell yeah.
it was a classic video. You guys gotta watch it.
I will. I'm about to watch that as soon as we leave.
Yeah.
There is no Wi-Fi in here, so I'm gonna have to watch that.
No,
when
yeah,
we finish up.
she thought she was doing something. She thought she was a big dog.
thought you were cool, huh?
Stomping on the Padres, whatever. It was like a foam finger thing, and then the guy just comes up and snatches her hat off her head and just chucks it down to the bottom. It was hilarious.
I have way more homies that
That's
are Padres
crazy.
fans
Yeah.
than Dodger fans, so I'm picking the Padres over the Dodgers any day.
Yeah, for the fans listening, sorry you don't get to watch it, but for reference, you guys can go look up
I'm
that
sure
video.
you guys know the video.
It's pretty viral, yeah. But
So-
yeah, just to add on to the Dodger fan slander.
Yeah, I love it. So those are good teams to pick for classless fans. Now, I don't know. Did anyone not think about the Raiders? Raider fans.
Okay.
Raider fans are
That's the other
the
one.
worst.
So-
they are the most aggressive,
Yeah.
hostile fans out of
I-
all sports.
I
in
think
my opinion.
Raider and Cowboy fans are very similar.
Yeah.
In terms of behavioral stuff and just the way they are, they think. Oh, my team is the greatest team ever when they have little to no success for the last 25 years and are banking on Rich Gannon and Troy Aikman as their saviors who haven't played in the NFL for, I don't know,
20 years.
my entire life.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, you have the Dallas Cowboys, who are just overhyped every single season, praising Dak Prescott like he's a god.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we're going all the way. We're going all the way to the Super
Like,
Bowl.
take it easy, man. When you hit 8-8, don't come crying to me. Though they did have a good.
Exactly.
Though they did have, and that's the thing. They have good seasons.
Yeah, but
Like-
they
Yeah,
like
that-
like
well,
the
that's
Packers,
true.
their division is awful. The NFC East.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like you said, you go I guess 9-8 now with 17 games. You go 9-8, and you're either first or second place in the conference.
Yeah. That's. I guess that's the upside of being in such a crappy division.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in it, I wouldn't be complaining.
Sure would not.
Yeah.
But they did go what, like 11-5.
No, yeah, the Packers had. I think they went 12-5.
Oh, yeah, but they went 13-4. No, but I was talking about the Cowboys. Like they went 12-5, or they had a pretty
Yeah.
decent.
No,
record.
I sorry. Did I say the Packers? I meant the Cowboys. I believe went 12-5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they both lost
and then
to the 49ers.
lost to the 49ers, both of them.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Yikes. But yes, Oakland Raider fans, classless. I think any team, any fan base from Pittsburgh or from Philadelphia,
Pennsylvania.
or Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, they're all purity.
But
classless.
I have a little more respect for them because they're like a lot more diehard, I feel. Just like a
Eagles?
little more gritty.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And besides, they've been.
I'll give you a
wanting-
pass because you're poor.
I mean, they've been wanting a Super Bowl championship or a Super Bowl ring until 2018, where they finally got their wish. So, I mean, their patience paid off. Is my point.
Yeah, this is true.
But that was the only thing they've had going. Like,
So
I don't know the. I don't know how
taking
to
a
describe it.
step back, talking about the Giants and the Dodgers. So the Dodgers are currently leading the National League West.
I would hope so.
with a record of 12-4, but the Giants are right there
Yeah.
at 12-5.
No, that just like the AFC West, the NL West in baseball is, I mean, just
Sheesh.
the top three, I guess. The Diamondbacks and Rockies are kind of
So the Diamondbacks,
washed, but
the Diamondbacks are 6-11.
yeah,
Padres are 10-7, while the Rockies are 10-6.
yeah.
So
Rockies, I mean, they did make a couple signings this past offseason, so, but Padres are still missing the Tatis, so
Tatis
when he's
Jr.
back, they'll probably pick it back up. But for some reason, the Padres also like to underperform for the talent that they have. But I'm hoping Bob Melvin coming in from the Oakland A's, who has a lot more success with a lot less talent, will bring the Padres to glory.
The Padres too. Well, we'll see. But I will be on assignment tomorrow at Oracle Park. I will be watching, advising, doing all this. No, I'm just watching the game. I'm going to see the Giants play the A's. This is my first baseball.
This is a work trip.
Work.
Put it. It's a tax deduct. Sheesh, man. I need it to be. Do you not know how expensive these friggin' things are? It's insane. But it's my first baseball game in like 8 years.
Oh wow,
Yeah, the last time I went.
Giants games are fun.
Giants
I
games
will
are
say
fun.
that.
Like the
Giants
last time
games are a good time.
the last time I went was Game 3 World Series
Oh,
2014.
nice.
It was the only game that the Giants lost that series. But we won the whole damn thing, and it was still a whole lot of fun. Like the energy in a Giants game is great.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, it's a cool vibe. It's just freezing.
It's just really cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Can't wait to see the Giants smash the Oakland A's, the Athletic. And honestly, and it seems like on the way that things are going in Oakland, ticket sales are way down.